name's Hanny Hindi. I do copywriting for Clickable, and I'm the head of their Guru program, which is basically a group of writers who go around within our own website and external sites and look for places where search marketers have questions about how to run their campaigns, how to do what they need to do online, and we try to answer those questions. So today the topic was search engine optimization, specifically how that's going to fit into book publicity, book marketing. But before getting into what I had, I kind of wanted to speak to some people in the room and see if you guys could say something about ways in which you publicize or use the internet to publicize books already. I saw that there was a big contingent from the children's book section here. Is there anyone from the contingent who wants to speak to that a little bit?
Just in general.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys have a website? Do you guys go to other sites?
Yeah, we do a lot of websites for a range of books, especially for our teen books in particular. We do a lot of feature sites, movie sites, and some of our sites have been around the longest. We've had some sites that have been around for 10 years, and those index really high in natural search results and things like that.
Okay.
We do a lot of Google search, keyword advertising as well. Students have been in accessibility for their books.
Right. So, sorry, repeating for the camera. The keyword advertising as an expensive way to market the books. And then the sites that you guys have set up, are they for imprints? Are they for specific books?
Not so much for imprints, more for books or individual books or series.
For books and series.
Basically, we encourage children who are already sort of genre under ourselves. We have our site, our teen site, and we have a health site for our teachers and our information course. And then for individual
Is there anybody else who has? I know Gretchen does a lot online. Did you want to say something about how you're promoting Happiness Project on Slate and some other spots?
Yeah, well, my theory is ubiquity is the new exclusivity. So I have my blog and I just try to get it out to so many different sites. So like Crosspost on Slate and Huffington Post, Psychology Today, Yahoo Shine sometimes, and this is a way to try to reach different demographics that wouldn't naturally come to my site, or to maybe get to help them cross my path there.
Okay. Well, I want to keep it a conversation, so we'll come back to stuff. But first thing I wanted to do is just kind of orient exactly what it is we're talking about when we say search engine optimization. So if you look at a search results page, this is a typical Google page, there's basically three components to the page. You have the sponsored results on the right, and you have featured sponsored results on top, which are all part of paid search. That's stuff where people are bidding on keyword terms, that's search engine marketing, and they show up in those spots. So when we're talking about search engine optimization, we're talking about what they call the organic results, which is the stuff that shows up on the left side, that takes up the majority of the search page. And SEO, search engine optimization, basically means trying to get as high up in this area as you possibly can for whatever terms are relevant to your business, relevant to the book you're promoting, relevant to anything that you're doing. Now, something you're going to hear a lot when people talk about SEO and SEM is discussion of keywords. And keywords are what they are. I use the keyword books here to look for something. But I think that that's actually, even though it's become ubiquitous, a bit of jargon that obscures more than it helps. I think the best way to think about what a search engine does, despite the fact that the three biggest search engines have extremely silly names, Google, Yahoo, and Bing, I think the one that really kind of got it right, even though it's a smaller engine, was Ask.com, which made it very clear that when someone goes to a search engine, what they're doing is asking a question. They're saying, tell me about books. Where can I find information about chess openings? What's the code for Contra? Whatever, they're trying to get a question answered. And everything else that you do becomes a lot easier if you think about it that way. Writing an ad, getting your results to show up properly in a search page is answering a user question. So rather than thinking about keywords, really think about it in terms of those types of questions. And I think that helps things a lot. Taking a bit of a step back, we're talking about search engine optimization and next week about marketing. I wanted to try to frame that within book publicity and marketing, or publicity and marketing in general. And the sort of distinction that I make is between demand creation and demand capture for the different roles that publicity and marketing would have in promoting anything. So demand creation, publicity, is the stage where a reader does not know that a particular title exists. They might be interested in the topic, they might be interested in certain kinds of authors, they might be interested in certain kinds of genres, and when they go to a search engine, they're going to be looking for those things. They're going to be looking for chess, Africa, Iraq. What should I read my 3-year-old? You know, that type of thing. As opposed to demand capture, which is someone saying, I want to buy Horton Lays an Egg, and goes online and searches for that book. And with effective search marketing, you can get those people who are looking to buy a specific title or have a much more targeted search, a much more targeted question that they're asking. So again, those are the two separate categories, and to stay as much away from the jargon and acronyms as possible, what you're doing in demand creation, what SEO comes down to, is participating in and adding to the conversation about a book's topic. And what you're doing in demand capture is taking people who are ready to buy a particular title that you're promoting and getting them to buy it through you. So that gets to the next point, which is a question about Google. There are lots of search engines. There's a lot of places that people go online for information. Social media, of course, are becoming much, much more popular and important than they ever have been. But when we talk about SEO and SEM and optimizing things, we're almost always exclusively talking about Google. And the question becomes, what makes Google so special? And the answer is 2 secret algorithms that they've got. Supposedly, the mythology of Google is that nobody except for 3 people knows the entire algorithm that they use to rank their search results. A bunch of people work on a bunch of different pieces of it, but it's their biggest trade secret. So the first one, the one that they use to rank search results, is called PageRank, and that's named for Larry Page, the founder of Google. And when I went to Wikipedia and asked what that was, they said the numerical weight that it assigns to any given element E is also called the PageRank of E and denoted by PRE. I have no idea what that means. You don't have to have any idea what that means, because it's just taking something very simple and making it complicated. The same thing happens when we get to quality score, which is the marketing equivalent of PageRank. Basically, the reason Google is a multi-billion-dollar business is that they were able to figure out whether or not results are relevant to a search. All that PageRank does is say what result is most relevant to what it is that a particular user is searching for, to the particular question, what answers the particular question that they're asking. And then quality score, which is the marketing equivalent of it, was to say which ad is most relevant to what a user is looking for, what the question the user is asking. And before Google came around with quality score, Yahoo already had ads on their pages, but the top ad went to the highest paying bidder. So somebody could search for chess or Dr. Seuss, and a Viagra salesman could put their ad up at the top, and you get the typical junk mail and everything, and no one clicked on the ads because they realized they weren't relevant. So Google added quality score to the mix, a way of testing for relevance. So again, PageRank, quality score, E denoted by PRE. The important thing is to provide relevant content, and that's all that it comes down to.
Hanny?